Hello, it's me, the Internet Pedant. I'm here, and today, because this, I've done a lot of Let's Plays on this channel. At least I have recently. Haven't done much else, but that's not the original intention of the channel. It's for all kinds of different stuff. Actually, originally it was essentially to troll. I guess I was just gonna pick on random things people were doing wrong on the internet and be pedantic. Hence, Internet Pedant. I still might do that, to be honest. But that's not what I'm going to do today. Today I'm going to do something separate from both those things, but still gaming related. Should I just get to it? I want to talk about the Wii HD, which has been basically brought up, into the public. It's rumoured to come out at E3 later this year and then to be released next year. And I want to kind of talk about what I think about the rumours and how it's going to fit in with what Sony doing and Microsoft doing and all this kind of malarkey. So yeah, because I've been in the world of gaming for a little while, I might have actually, started off on Game & Watch, so I'm pre-NES era. I grew up with the ZX Spectrum, I'm just going to spout, the point is, I'm an old man when it comes to gaming. And Nintendo's changed a lot over the years, really. Mainly it's sort of, it's weird. They become very business oriented. They've stepped back from being a main competitor in the gaming industry and have essentially just realised that they can just kind of relax a bit and still make a profit. They've worked out how to be in first place while being in third place. It's pretty impressive. We're in a situation at the moment where Nintendo, for the last God knows how long, have essentially been, they've not really gone for the core gamer element. They've concentrated more on the casual market, and they've used a lot of innovation to do that. So we've had, let's go right back. We had the DS, well, say right back, DS, bringing us the dual screen ability. We had the GameCube and the wasn't really doing too much, but the Wii did. Obviously, Wii brought in motion controls. We've had the DSi, bringing sort of store functionality to a handheld console, and the 3DS recently with the whole thing. And the thing is, a lot of the time, they haven't been making the most technologically powerful system, but often the most advanced one. And that's got them into a very clever position right now. We've got Sony and Microsoft, who have got the 360 and the PlayStation 3, and both, at the time they were released, I'm sorry, just hit the microphone there, both were very reasonably powerful machines for their era. They were both expensive to make. For the first year or two, both consoles, they were making a loss on everyone they sold. It cost them more to make it than it did for you to buy it. And some of them were, even the PlayStation 3 was pretty damn expensive anyway. Nintendo didn't have that problem. They built a less powerful machine, which has, been, people have commented on how it's so much weaker than the others, which is one of the reasons a lot of the games that we expect on the 360 PS3 haven't come across. But they could make it cheaper. They could make it more sturdy. There's less of an error rate. There's you don't really hear about the equivalent of a red ring of death with a Wii. I'm sure there are issues, but not as many. And instead they relied on this innovative gimmick, the motion controller, and that has propelled them into first place. They had sales out of their eyeballs. They're making tons of cash. It doesn't matter to them from a business perspective that the core gamers aren't flocking to them. I had a Wii, I sold it. One of my friends had a Wii, he sold it. There were just no games for us on it. Microsoft and Sony obviously were catering to that, but because their consoles were so much more expensive to make, and because they didn't have the sheer number of owners that Nintendo have had, believe it or not, the Wii is selling more. It's been, in a way, they've been playing catch up, even though they're the ones sort of that gamers think of first. But even then, they've still been playing catch up. So the last few years, the last couple of years, they've both, they've been going for the motion control thing. So the PlayStation 3's had Move and 360's had Kinect. They're both trying to claw some of that market from Nintendo. They're trying to get the casual gamer onto their systems. it's a bit late, really. The Wii is already in, your grandparents' front room. It's already there. They're not going to buy another console and an add-on for the console in order to do this thing that they can get for this one system that's cheaper than either of those two bits combined. But I'm getting off topic here. The point is that at the moment, they've both said, they've just got to the point now where essentially they're making money on the consoles, where the technology's kind of, got cheap enough that they can make their consoles and make a little bit of a profit on them. But they're also not moving on to new consoles anytime soon. Sony and Microsoft have both committed to staying with their current console, not releasing a new one for a few years. They're concentrating on essentially making you do more with them, with Move and Connect. They're trying to keep you with your PlayStation 3, with your 360, and then get these add-ons to do all this new stuff. And they're not developing new consoles. That's key here, because now Nintendo are saying, hey, we HD. Okay, we're bringing out this new system, and obviously there's rumours flying around everywhere about what it does. The key one at the moment is it's going to be more powerful than the PS3 and the 360. Don't know if that's true. It'll probably be comparable, maybe more powerful. It could well be, because, again, first clever thing, by coming in at this point when the technology's already been developed. I mean, at the moment, the PlayStation 3 and the 360 are nowhere near, say, in terms of what modern PCs can do graphically. They're lagging behind. They're using 5-year-old graphics cards, essentially. Whereas, Nintendo now can come in, build a more powerful system using, the current, well, not state of the art, but they can build something that's affordable and still more powerful than what Sony and Microsoft have got out there. They can probably do it for less, and they can probably get rid of the error rate. They're not dealing with this cutting edge, technology kind of jammed in there at low cost. For a budget price, they can afford to make it a bit sturdy. Who ever heard of a flimsy Nintendo console? And you can guarantee that they're going to be doing something innovative with it as well. Again, Sony and Microsoft are sort of playing catch up. Meanwhile, Nintendo have always been the innovators. They've always been the one coming out with this stuff first. They're going to come out with this new console. It's going to be as powerful or more powerful than the Xbox and 360, and it is going to do cool stuff. We don't know what, but it will. It just will. And Sony and Microsoft haven't really got an answer right now. They're going to be, at the moment, they've been, able to just go, well, we've got the powerful market, we've got the graphics. Look at our graphics. We can't even compare. The Wii can't even compare, not we as in. Anyway. But Nintendo are going to be in this position where they've got a superior console in terms of what it's capable of graphically, and it'll be more innovative. They're going to be ahead of the game. And this is an interesting position for Nintendo to be in, actually, and for Microsoft and Sony, because they haven't got an answer. They're not developing a new console. They're stuck with what they've got. And that means that if Nintendo does it right, they could clean up. Now, the problem is, as I said earlier, gamers don't like Nintendo anymore. There's some, even myself, it's taken until after the DSi for me to really go, you know what, I'm not going to get the new Nintendo console straight away. I've been burnt too many times. I've had too many where, it's come out and you've had Mario there, and you've had Zelda there, and you've had Metroid, and it's all been, woo, cool. And then kind of a couple of years later, you're waiting to hear if they're going to make everything up other than a new Mario Party game. So it all hinges on that one thing. If Nintendo carrying as they are now, they are going to have a spectacular console, and they'll have lots of casual games for it, and a few good first party ones. Some people will buy it and like it, but for the most part, this is going to be the casual gamer's console. They're going to try and just keep the market they've got with the Wii, and fair play to them. They'll do very well. One way or another, Nintendo are going to do very well out of this. But if they can do, and they've alluded to this, I'll come back to this, if they can bring in the third parties, if they can get them actually on board making games, we could be looking at something that will literally take over the industry. We could be looking at something we haven't seen really since the age of Atari. We could be seeing a single console dominating. It's really weird to see that, this is something. I mean, ever since Sega came along, there's been a second competitor. There's been some kind of battle, and even now, as I said, you can really see Nintendo as the third person in the gaming circle, and yet in another way they're top dogs. They're just kind of staying out of the battle with Microsoft and Sony, and now they've kind of swooped back in and gone, oh, by the way. Now, they have said, apparently, I think it was Reggie Jackson or whoever, did say that they want to try and get the third parties on board much sooner and in a much stronger way. If they really mean that, and I'm sure they said the same thing with the Wii, I'm sure they said the same thing with the GameCube, I don't quite remember, but I'm fairly sure they did. But let's just for the moment say that they do mean it and they are going to do that. There's nothing for Sony and Microsoft to do. They don't have new systems. They have nothing to counter this. If they do bring something out, it's going to be rushed, it's going to be not as innovative, and it's going to probably be not very well built. We're going to be seeing the same kind of error issues we have already. I don't know, it's tricky. But anyway, let me get to the sort of, I say specifics, but some of the rumours of what's going on with the Wii. It's going to be in HD, hence Wii HD. Okay, fine, so we're going to see 1080p. Again, that's not really surprising. It's going to be at least as powerful as what the 360 is. That was very good English of what the 360 is. Apparently, it's like one rumour going around is it's going to have the controllers going to have a HD screen on it. Not even a touch screen, just a high definition screen on the controller. We don't know what form the controller is going to take. It's probably no, it's not. It's. I would be extremely surprised if it had a full HD screen. I mean, when you think about that, so you put in a screen on there, but then you've got to have a graphics card, it's equivalent in there to drive it. That's going to drive battery life up. And the moment you've got buttons and a screen and a processor and a battery in there, you might as well just call it a handheld console. And at that point, you may as well just package a DSi, or whatever in with the console and say, yeah, there you go, that's your controller. It just syncs, and then when you're done, you just wander over it, put your cartridge games in there. No, that's not going to happen. I don't know. It might have a little screen in there. The only thing I can imagine is if they're going for something like the Dreamcast VMU. It's got its own screen, its own buttons. It's you save your games on that rather than on the system. But it's pretty unlikely. I don't think there's going to be a screen. I don't know what the controller will be. It will be something surprising because it's Nintendo. They just do crazy stuff and it works. They're saying it might have Blu-ray support. I don't know. I mean, let's be honest. Nintendo doesn't really go for proprietary storage medium. I mean, going forward, you've had the NES cartridge, N64 cartridge, obviously all the handheld consoles cartridges. GameCube was the little disc. I can't remember the name. Even the Wii then decided to use the same kind of discs. I don't really know why. Oh no, sorry. Did the Wii use bigger discs? I think it did, didn't it? But they still weren't like CDs or DVDs. They were their own format, really. I doubt they'll just use Blu-rays. It's possible, but it doesn't seem very Nintendo. Yeah, I don't really know what more I have to say. I've kind of said my piece. But yeah, anyway, so here's my prediction. My prediction is that Nintendo, two predictions really. If Nintendo gets the third parties on board, they're going to clean up. They're going to come out with this next year, get sales all over the place. The gamers will get on board if the games are there. Sony and Microsoft are going to be playing catch up. They're not going to be able to get a console out for 2012. It'll be a year or two later, if that. And it probably won't be as impressive as Nintendo's offer. If they can't get the third parties on board, which I don't know, maybe. I mean, Nintendo are not very good at that kind of stuff. Then they'll probably wind up in the position where they are now, where they're selling very well, quite popular in the media, bags of money, but the gamers just aren't there. They'll stick with their 360s and the PlayStation 3s and wait patiently to see what they come out with next. Because honestly, it's all about the games, really, isn't it? You know, if your console doesn't have the games, what's the point of it? Yeah, but there you go. There's my thoughts. I shall later on. I'm thinking of doing another Minecraft video. I don't know if that's going to be on here or the other channel. I actually don't know which channel I'm going to put this on. There's AA Wood, which is me, and there's Internet Pedant, which is me. But I'm going to do another Minecraft video because I've come up with a very clever way of climbing up walls. Wait and see. And I'm probably going to do another part of my Discworld video. Let's play that I'm doing. I've decided I'm going to try and run through that and complete it as quick as possible using a guide because I have no idea what I'm doing now anyway. Yeah, okay. Take care now. Bye.